the physical memory in several ways, like we can partition the memory into several ways, like equal partitioning, unequal partitioning, variable length partitioning, fixed length partitioning. Like this we have seen, and we are having several problems regarding these partitions, like internal fragmentation, external fragmentation, which we have seen in previous classes. Yeah. Now, what is the convention or the relaxation that we have with respect to this paging mechanism is, whatever the process we are having, we will be having process like P1. P1 is a process, and we are having main memory. Now, this main memory will be divided into equal partitions, okay, equal sized partitions, and we call these equal size partitions as frames. Okay, each partition we call it as frame, and the idea here is, whatever the size of frame that we are having, same size we will be dividing here the process as well. Okay, whatever the frame size we have, same size we will be dividing the process as well. Like if you are having process P1, and we will be dividing into several partitions which is having the same size as frame size. Like P2, we can divide into several partitions, and each partition in the process we call it as page. Okay, here how many pages we are having? 4 pages for P2. Here how many pages we are having for P1? 3 pages we are having for P1. Simple idea is, we will be dividing the main memory into equal parts, and each part we call it as frame, and whatever the frame size we are having, to same size we will be dividing the page as well. Okay, process as well, and this particular partition we call it as page in the process. Okay, page, this is one page, this is one page. Like this, here we are having 4 pages for P2. Now what is the advantage of dividing like this is, whatever the pages, whatever the process which we need to load into main memory, those can be loaded like suppose we are having four pages in this P2, those 4 pages can be loaded like 2 pages here, 2 pages here, or 1 page here, 3 pages here. Like this, no need to allocate entire process, no need to load entire process contiguously. That is the advantage. Whenever we have this kind of flexibility, then we could avoid fragmentation problem. Okay, we could avoid in the sense we can reduce at least. That is the advantage of using paging. Did you get the point? Basic intuition, what is the motivation to introduce this paging is, whatever the fragmentation problem we have seen earlier, that can be reduced. Idea here is, we will be dividing the physical memory into equal size partitions called frames, and whatever the size of the frame that we are having in the main memory, same size we will be dividing the page process as well, so that each page can be loaded into any frame. Okay, any page can be loaded into any frame. That is what the idea. That's why we have divided the process into different pages, which is of having same size as frame size. Okay, in each process we will be having pages. Every page size will be same as frame size. Okay, now you consider simple example. We are having P1 of size let us say 5 KB, and P2 of size 6 KB. Okay, P2 of size 6 KB, and we are having main memory, okay, where we are having different frames. Each frame is having 2 KB. Okay, each frame, this is having 2 KB, this is having 2 KB, like this. Now, how we have to divide P1? P1 has to be divided based upon the frame size. We are having 5K as P1 size. Now, frame size is 2K, so we will be dividing like 2K, then another 2K, then 1K will be another page. So how many pages we will be getting? 3 pages we will be getting. Like this is 2K, this is 2K, this is 1K. Similarly here P2 we will be dividing into 3 pages. Why? Because each frame size is 2, so each page should have the size as 2KB. So 2KB, 2KB, then 2KB. Then we will be getting again 3 pages here. Now, how many how many pages we have to load in order to load entire P1 is all these 3 pages. So where we have to load these 3 pages, is there any restriction that we need to have contiguously? No, that is the advantage of using paging. So this let us consider this one as process 1 first page, process 1 second page, process 1 third page. So we can load like this: process 1 first page here, process 1 second page here, process 1 third page here. So that all pages are present in the main memory. Okay, this is the main memory. So this particular process could able to progress, could able to complete its execution. That is what the idea. Now P2 wants to enter. Then P2, how many pages we are having? 3 pages. So second process first page, second process second page, second process third page, like this we can refer. Now these can be loaded non-contiguously as well. That is the basic idea. So 2.1, that is a second process first page can be loaded in free slot. Next second process second page. Next second process third page, we don't have free slot, so it has to wait until the time it could process 2 could not able to execute. Understand? So like this, the basic idea is we will be dividing the main memory into equal size partitions called frames. Whatever the frame size we are having, same size, we will be dividing the process as well. Whatever those partitions we call it as pages. And basic advantage of using this paging is whatever the pages we are having in the process, those need not be contiguously present in the main memory in order to execute. If all those pages are present in the main memory, that is sufficient. Wherever those may be, we could able to execute. That is the basic idea. Okay. So now let us consider what is meant by page. It is nothing but partition that we will do, process partition, that we call it as page. And what is meant by frame? It is nothing but main memory partition. Main memory will be divided into equal fixed size chunks that are called frames. Next, the process will be divided into small fixed size chunks which is having the same size as frame. Same size as frame. Then we can say that as the page. Okay, where we will be having frames? In the main memory. Where we will be having pages? In the process. Process will be divided, that we call it as pages. Main memory will be divided, that we call it as frames, that you keep in mind. Now each page we will brought into this frame. Why? Because this frame size and page size is same. Every page size and the frame size is same. So we can load any page into any frame. That is the basic idea. Now one more advantage of using this one is, whenever we use this kind of thing, these pages can be loaded into main memory at in any frame. Okay. So the restriction is all pages should be loaded into main memory, then only we could able to execute, but those pages need not be contiguous. Earlier equal size partition, fixed size partitioning, dynamic partitioning, these things we have seen, right? In those all the pages, entire process needs to be loaded, and one more thing is that entire thing should be contiguous. Earlier, which we have seen, like partitioning, fixed size partitioning, variable size partitioning, dynamic partitioning, these things, there we have divided the main memory into equal size, but we haven't divided process. Process P1 is having 5 KB, means entire 5 KB we need to find here whether 5 KB is fit here or not, 5 KB process fit here or not, like that we have to check. Process 2, let us say process 2 requires 6 KB, means 6 KB partition exists or not, we have to check. But in this particular paging, what we are doing is this 5 KB we are dividing into small parts, we call it as pages. So, and these also we are dividing as this entire main memory also dividing as frames, and these two sizes we are keeping same so that any page can be loaded into any frame. That is the difference between normal fixed size partitioning, variable size partitioning, which we have seen earlier, and this paging. Got it? Yes, any doubts, ma? Yes, please respond, ma. Any doubts? Did you understand what is meant by paging? What's the difference between normal fixed size partitioning and this paging? Yes, I'm expecting at least one response, ma. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Now, let's see how this particular paging will be implemented with the support of hardware. We will be seeing. Yeah, this is the example. I think this we have discussed in the previous class. Just you can observe here. We are dividing the main memory into equal size partitions. Okay. Here 15 available frames. All 15 are available. 0 to 14 all are available. Now process A is loaded. So 4 are filled. Remaining 11 are free. Next process B loaded. So process A and process B occupied. So remaining how many this 7, 8 will be vacant. Next process C also loaded. So these will be free. Now process B has completed execution, let us say. Then these 3 will be freed. Okay, these 3 frames will be released. Then now we are having here 3 and here 4. Total 7 we are having. Now for D, process D, we want 5 frames. We are having 5 pages. So 5 frames to load those 5 pages. So 5 frames in the sense, here we can use these 3 and these 2. Like that here we have loaded, you see. These 3 and 2. So earlier we don't have this flexibility that process can be loaded at non-contiguous memory. But whenever we use paging, we are dividing the process into several pages so that some pages can be loaded at one place, some pages can be loaded at other place. Okay, those need not be contiguous. But the restriction is all these pages should be present in the main memory. Then only we could able to execute. That is the basic idea. This is called simple paging, that you keep in mind. Simple paging. Okay, in the simple paging, we will be dividing the main memory into frames, process into pages. Then whenever we wanted to execute process, all these pages needs to be brought into main memory to some frames. Then only we could able to execute. That is the basic idea. Yeah. Now, in order to maintain, like where we are having, it is like D is having, process D is having 5 pages. First 3 are here, next 2 are here. Okay, this has to be known by CPU. Okay, this should be known to the CPU. Then only it could able to execute. Like after executing this, then this, like this. Some sequence needs to be followed. So process CPU should able to understand where that particular page has been loaded. Okay. Now, in order to address this particular requirement, we will be maintaining a table called page table. Okay. This will be maintained by operating system actually. Operating system will maintain a table called page table. Okay. Try to understand. In order to know where one particular page has been loaded in the main memory, operating system will maintain page table. So directly CPU try to access the one particular page, but where that particular page is loaded, that is not known to CPU. So it has to consult operating system, then it has to refer the table called page table. In this page table, what we will be having is what is the page number that we are having. Suppose third page is at which frame? Third page is at which frame? These are the frame numbers. These are the frame numbers 0 to 14. Now, this is first page associated with process D, second page, third page, like this. Third page is at which frame? Sixth frame. So, that particular thing will be maintained in this page table. Page table I will draw here separately. See, we are having a page table, consists of what is the page number, okay, page number, and the frame number, associated frame number, where we have that page. Like suppose we are having first page, where we are, or 0th page, where we are having that 0th page, 0th page in which frame? Fourth frame. Next, first frame is in which frame? First frame is in fifth frame. Next, second page is in sixth frame. Next, third one is in which frame? 11th frame. Next, fourth one is in which frame? 12th frame. Like this we will be maintaining. This is called page table. Okay, page table. Who will maintain this page table? Operating system will maintain. Okay, whenever CPU gives one particular address, then it has to consult this page table. Corresponding frame will be retrieved. Okay, frame number will be retrieved from this page table. By giving the page number, it will retrieve the frame number. Accordingly, that frame number will be used to address corresponding page. That is the basic idea. Let us consider a simple example. I wanted to access, let us say, third page, 15th line I wanted to access. Third page, 15th line, let us say. Third page, where we are having third page, that will be referred in this page table. Third page is at which frame? 11th frame. So in the 11th frame, so now this will be translated as third frame, 15th line will be translated as third page, 15th line will be translated as 11th frame, 15th line. Try to understand here. What's the logic? We will be maintaining page table. In this page table, we will be maintaining this page number and the corresponding frame number, where we are having that page that will be maintained in page table. Now third page, 15th line I wanted to access. That is CPU wants to access this third page, 15th line. So third page means what is the frame number? 11th frame. So 11th frame, 15th line. Are these two same or not? Third page, 15th line, or 11th frame, 15th line. So 11th frame, 15th line. So it will come here. It will be translated. 3 comma 15 will be translated as 11 comma 15. So that 11th frame it could be able to access. Then within this 15th line will be given to the CPU. Like this, page table will be utilized to address corresponding word or corresponding line in the process. Okay, let us see this formally. Yeah, page table will be maintained by whom? Operating system. For each process, for every process we will be having page table. Why? Because earlier we have considered like this, third page, 15th line. Okay, this is of which where we have to search. It is like for A also third page is there, for B also third page is there, for C also third page is there. Which process third page we have to consider? That's why we need to maintain separate page table for each process. Suppose process A, we will be having how many pages? 4 pages, 0, 1, 2, 3, and where we are having those, this is frame number, this is page number. Okay, now 0, 1, 2, 3 only. Why? Because here you can relate this 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Next, process D, let us say, process D, as we have seen earlier, 5 pages we are having, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. First 3 pages are at 4, 5, 6. So 4, 5, 6. Next two pages are at 11 and 12. So third page is at 11, then 12. Now this is process D. This is process A. Okay, this is the page number. This is the frame number. Okay, now whenever it wants to access D, okay, D process, third page, 15th line. So it will refer corresponding page table for this entry and it will retrieve the frame number. So from here, frame number we are getting as 11. Then what is the what you call line number? 15. So 11th frame, 15th line that it has to access. That is what the translation will happen. Okay. Now let us see this. Maintained by operating system for each process. This page table will be maintained by operating system for each process. Okay, I will show you the example as well. What it will contain, that page table will contain frame location for each page in the process. Suppose we are having two pages, first page and second page, where we are having first page, where we are having second page. That is frame number we will be maintaining. Next, processor must know how to access for the current process. Okay, that will be maintained by processor. Next, used by processor to this page table will be accessed by CPU in order to produce physical address. Physical address in the sense absolute address, we can say absolute address, actual address. Okay. Now let us see the example. Here you see process A, process B, process C, process D. We are having total how many frames we are having? Total 0 to 14 as we have seen earlier, 0 to 14. So total 15 frames we are having in the main memory. I will show you this. Yeah, here you see total 15 frames we are having. In this process A is loaded here. So process A page table will look like this 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Next, process B is not there in the main memory, so entries are empty here at the end. Next, process C is present at 7, 8, 9, 10 contiguously. Next, process D present at different location like 4, 5, 6. First 3 pages are loaded, 11 and 12. Next 2 pages are loaded. Now, at this particular point, we are having 2 frames empty. I will show you that. See, here we are having 2 frames empty. What are the numbers of 2 frames? 13 and 14. So it will maintain what are the free frames that we are having. Based upon that, suppose another process wants to load, then how many free frames we are having, where we are having, that will be maintained in this list, so that directly we could able to allocate corresponding frames. Okay. Now, like this, for every process, page table will be maintained. Who will access this page table? Operating system, what you call CPU will access this page table. Okay, who will maintain this page table? Operating system will maintain. Yeah. Now, this is the example. Try to understand first 2 diagrams only you consider. Third one I will show you later. Now you see we are having this as the main memory. Okay, this entire thing as the main memory. Okay, this entire thing as the main memory. Now, into this main memory, we are having certain partitions, and we have loaded several pages. Like page 0, every page is having 1 KB, 1 KB. So this is 1 KB, and this is 1 KB. Okay, this entire thing is 1 KB. Okay, there can be pages of less size, but not more than the frame size. It is like earlier we have seen one simple example. 5 KB if you have as process size, and we are having each frame size as 2 KB. Then we will be dividing as 2, but what will be the remaining? Third page will contain only 1 KB, but entire frame we have to allocate. Like that, the frame size is 1 KB. A page that we have loaded is little less compared to the frame size. Okay, in this particular situation we can get this. Now you consider this is the logical address. Okay, this is the logical address generated by CPU. From this logical address, it has to access corresponding what you call word or corresponding line, you can say. This particular one it has to access. CPU wants to access this particular one. Where we are having this line is in the first page, okay, that is page 1. That will be known by using first 6 bits. Here you can observe what is the size of the page. Yes, please respond, ma. What is the size of the page? Yes, what is the size of the page? It is 1 KB. 1 KB in the sense 1024 bytes, isn't it? 1024 bytes. Each byte can be accessed like 1 byte, 2 bytes, second byte, third byte, 4 byte. Like this we will be having bytes. Now 1024 to add what you call refer one particular byte in 1024, how many bits we require? That is the question. Try to answer. Like we are having two distinct things, A and B. In order to distinguish these two, or in order to identify these two, how many bits we require is 1 bit is sufficient. Why? Because in 1 bit we can store either 0 or 1. If it is 0, we can relate to A. If it is 1, we can relate to B. Now let us consider we are having A, B, C, D. Then 1 bit sufficient to refer these 4? Is 1 bit sufficient? 0 if you relate to A, 1 if you relate to B, then what about C and D? We cannot relate. Why? Because we are having only 1 bit storage. That's why we need to use more than 1 bit. Let us consider 2 bits. For 2 bits we will be having sorry, for 2 bits we will be having 4 alternatives: 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, 1 1. 0 0 can be related to A, 0 1 can be related to B, like this 1 0 to C, 1 1 to D. So 2 bits are sufficient to address 4 locations uniquely. Okay, now you consider similar thing. Now you consider similar thing with respect to 3 bits. Suppose if we have 3 bits, okay, how many alternatives we can have? How many alternatives? 3 bits, 0 0 0 to 1 1 1. Okay, these will be, how many will be there? Yeah, any answers, man? Yes, please respond. How many alternatives we can have with 3 bits? With 1 bit we can have 2. With 2 bits we can have 4. With 3 bits we can have Yes, please respond, ma. 1 bit, 2 alternatives we can choose. Out of 2 alternatives we can choose. Next, 2 bits means we can identify 4. 3 means we can identify
6 alternatives, sir.
One more time. 0 0 0, how many will be there? Just you count. 0 0 1, 0 1 0, 0 1 1. Next, 0 1 1, 1 0 0, 1 0 1, 1 1 0, 1 1 1. So these four, total 8 alternatives we will be getting. Try to understand. I will tell you a simple trick to identify this. Just we are having 1 bit, then 0 1. Okay, 2 alternatives. In order to add second bit, this second bit can be either 0. Okay, either 0. Next, again you copy this 0 and 1 only. Second bit can be 1 as well. So 1 1. So 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Now you consider for 2 bits 4 alternatives we are having. Let us write 4 alternatives here: 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Now again for third bit we are having 2 alternatives, isn't it? We can put all zeros. Okay, this is one alternative. For third bit itself we can put all ones as well. Understand? So here we can put all ones. So we will be getting how many alternatives now? Yeah, please respond, ma. How many alternatives we can get for 3?
8.
8. Yeah. Now for 4, how many alternatives we can get? For 4. For 4 bits, how many alternatives? Like
16.
Yeah, 16. This kind of portions we will be having 2 times. Why? Because for 4th bit we are having 2 alternatives. We can put 0 for the first alternative, second alternative can be 1. So for 4 bits we will be getting 16. For 5 it will be 32. For 6
64.
64. 7
128.
8
256.
9
512.
10.
1024.
Yeah. Now for 1 KB how many bytes we will be having? 1 KB in the sense 1024 bytes. Okay, 1024. By using 1 bit we could able to identify one address, we could able to identify 1 byte. Okay, now to identify 1024 bytes, how many bits we require? From here you can say how many bits we require to identify 1024 bytes independently?
10.
10. So 10 bits we require. Let us say we are having 10 bit address, then we will be able to identify by using this address maximum of 1024 locations. Okay, if 10 bits are there, then 1024 locations we could able to identify. Now come back to this particular one. Here we are having the logical address. In this this we will use to identify one of the 1024 addresses. Each page is having the size as 1 KB. So we will be having 1024 bytes here. Like this 1024 bytes we will be having. Now to identify one of the 1024 bytes, how many bits we require? 10 bits we require. So total address is 16 bits. Total logical address is 16 bits. So out of these 10 we have to allocate for identifying one of 1024. So remaining will be 6. These 6 bits we will use to identify page number. What is the page number? How we can identify is first 6 bits we will access, then 000, 001. 000, decimal value will be 1 only. Why? Because I think you know how to convert number into decimal into binary like this, right? Binary number into decimal, decimal number into binary. These conversions you might be knowing. Okay, if possible I will show one. Next, this is the actual what you call one of the 1024 addresses. Okay, if you convert this 0 111 0 11110, we will be getting 478. Okay, how we can convert? Just can anyone able to tell? 0 111 0 11110. Yeah, how we can how we can get the decimal equivalent of this? Just we will be writing 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, like this we will be writing up to 2 power 9, up to 2 power 9. Why? Because 10 digits we are considering. So if you consider 2 power 8, we will be multiplying 2 power 0 with 0, 2 power 1 with 1, 2 power 2 with 2 power 2 with 1, 2 power 3 with 1, like this we will be multiplying, then we will add all those things like 0 1 1. What is the decimal equivalent? 0 1 1. What is the decimal equivalent? Decimal equivalent of 0 1 1. Simple ma. 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2 we will put 2 power 0 with 1, it will be 1. Next plus 2 power 1 with 1, that is 2. Next 2 power 2 with 0, it will be 0. So total value will be 3. Now you consider 101. What is the decimal equivalent of 101? 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2. So 2 power 0 into 1, it will be 1. Next 2 power 1 into 0, it will be 0. Next 2 power 2 into 1, that is 4. So total value will be 5. So like this we could able to convert binary into decimal. So this is the binary address that we can convert into decimal, then we will be getting this 478. Okay. On the other hand, in reverse also you can convert. If you don't know, I will tell. Like you consider 5 only. Binary we want. Then you divide this with 2. Then 2 times. Then remainder is 1. Next, again you divide with 2 one time and the remainder is 0. Then you write from bottom to top. Then we will be getting 101. Okay. On the other hand, you can consider 3. Just simply one time, then the remainder is 1. So in reverse means 1 1 only we will be getting. You can put any number of zeros here to this. Okay. So this will be the binary 3. Like yeah, one more example. 13 let us consider. 13 we will be dividing with 2. Then how many times? 6. Then the remainder is 1. Then 2, 3. Then the remainder is 0. Next 2. 1, remainder is 1. Now we have to write from bottom to top. Then we will be getting 1101 base 2. Okay, this is the binary equivalent of 13. On the other hand, you can convert back 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2. Then 2 power 0 into 1, it is 1. Plus 2 power 1 into 0, it is 0. Next 2 power 1 in 2 power 2 into 1, that is 4. Next 2 power 3 into 1, that is 8. So 8 plus 4 plus 1, it will be 13. So we are getting this 13, isn't it? So this is a conversion from decimal to binary, binary to decimal. So now come back to, yeah. Do you have any doubt, ma? I think it's clear to you. Yes? Yes, any doubt, ma? Okay. Now 1024 we can identify by using 10 bits. Then these 6 bits we will be using to identify page number. So we will be identifying where we are having this page, that is in which frame. Then this particular offset we will use to identify in the particular frame what is the word that we wanted to access, what is the line that we wanted to access. Okay, this is basically the page. Now we will see some more details. Like you consider we are having logical address of size 16 bits. 16 bits. Out of those, 10 bits we are using as offset. Why we are using 10 bits? We have seen already. Why we are using 10 bits? Because page size is 1 KB. 1 KB. Each byte we have to access. So how many bytes we will be having? 1024. To identify 1024, we need 10 bits. That's why we are considering 10 bits offset. Next, remaining bits you can use to identify page number. Okay, 6-bit page number. So 6 bits we will be considering page number. As we have seen earlier, what is the page table structure? We will be having page number and the frame number, right? Page number will be having page frame number. So page number we can consider as these 0, 1, 2 are the page numbers. Next, frame numbers are these. Okay. Now, by using this particular 6-bit page number, we will be indexing here. So, what is the decimal equivalent of 000001? Decimal equivalent of 000001. It is simply 1, isn't it? 000001. It is equivalent to decimal 1. So we will be referring here. So 1. Next, in this particular one, we are having the frame number. This is the frame number we are considering. Frame number in the sense we are having 000001. What is the decimal equivalent of this? Decimal equivalent of this is simply 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, remaining anyway zeros only. So 2 power 2 is 4, 2 power 1 is 2, so it will be 6. So 6th frame we have to access. So 6th frame, this will be copied here directly. Okay, 6, this will be copied. 000001 will be copied from here. Next, whatever the offset we are having, that will be copied. Then we will be getting 16-bit physical address. It is like earlier we have seen, right? 3 comma 15 can be converted to 3 comma 15 can be converted to 11 comma 15. 15 is same, right? In both the things 15 is same. Just whatever the offset we are having, that we are taking directly, but this page number we are replacing with actual frame number. How we are getting the page number, frame number? By using this page number as the index. So third, what is the frame number? 11. So that will be copied here. So similar to that, here we will be getting here. See, we are having, we are having 16-bit logical address. Out of these 6 bits we will be considering as page number, remaining will be considered as offset, remaining 10. Now this offset directly we will be mapping to physical address. Next, frame number, this page number we will be replacing with the frame number by indexing in this page table, corresponding page table. So we will be getting frame number. So by appending this frame number and the offset, we will be getting 16-bit physical address. This is the hardware mechanism that we will be having, how address translation will be done when we use paging. Okay, is this clear? Yes? Any doubts so far? Yes, please respond now.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let us consider another there is one problem in paging, that when we are having frames like this, okay, and pages like this, and as we have discussed, suppose 7 KB is the process size, let us say 7 KB, then 2 we will be dividing, then it will be 1. What is the size of the frame? Frame will be 2 only. All frames will be 2 KB. So here we will be loading, let us say this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0 we will load, then 1 we will load, 2 we will load, then third one we will load, let us say here only. Then what is the size of the frame here? 2 KB. What is the size of the last page? 1 KB. So here we will be using only half of it. Okay, 1 KB will be vacant, isn't it? This will be vacant. This cannot be utilized by any other process. So within the partition we are having the unused space, unusable space, that leads to again fragmentation problem. What kind of fragmentation is this? Internal fragmentation. Why? Because we are having unusable space within the partition, that we can consider as internal fragmentation. But it is minute internal fragmentation, very small amount of internal fragmentation exists, but there is no external fragmentation possible whenever we use paging. Okay, now let us address this particular issue. As of now, you understand, by using paging we will be getting internal fragmentation, but small amount of internal fragmentation. Okay, now let us consider here there is a concept which is parallel to paging or alternative to paging, that can be considered as a segmentation. Okay, before going to see what is meant by segmentation, let us consider a program can be divided into different segments. Okay, what is meant by segment is, we can consider as one of these, like segment can be a main program, segment can be a procedure, can be a function, can be a method, object, some local variables, global variables. That portion can be considered as a segment. Segment can be some blocks, segment can be a stack, symbol table, arrays. Like this segment you can consider as a main program itself. This can be a segment, this can be a segment. Like this we will be dividing our program, user program, into several segments. Okay, logically we will be dividing. Okay, how user will be seeing is, we are it is like suppose if you write one program, for that program you will be having main function, that can be considered as one part, one segment. Next you have used one function, that is one segment. Next, you have used some symbol table to refer variables and all. That is another segment. Another function can be another segment. Like this, user will be considering like this. Now, internally, how it will be considered? Like we'll be having, we will be referring each with like this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this, we are having 5 segments. So 5 segments we will be numbering like this 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, in the physical memory, we will be having variable length partition. Okay, variable length partition. 1 can be loaded here, 2 can be loaded, 3 can be loaded here, 4 can be loaded here. Now, we wanted to refer one of the words in this particular, or one line in first segment, or one line in third segment, like this. Then what we should give is, we should give segment number. Okay, we should give segment number and the offset, like which we have seen with respect to page number. But here what will happen is, we are not dividing the main memory into frames. So we don't have any frames. Understand? If you have frame number, directly by using the frame, by using the page number, we will be getting the frame number. Then that can be appended with offset to get the physical address. But how it will happen here is, we will be having segment number. By using the segment number, whether we will be having from where that particular segment is being started. Like second segment, let us say I am giving second segment, then 203 is the offset. Then second segment, where we are having that second segment, that base address we will be having. Try to understand base address. That base address we will be accessing. Then from that base address, can we able to access 203 offset? Are we having the segment of that particular length or not? We have to check. For that, we will be having the limit. Okay, limit. So whether this 203 is exceeding the limit or not, we have to check. Then if it is not exceeding, then we can take this base address and the offset address we can append, so that we can get the physical address. Try to understand simple mechanism, which is little different from the page table. We will be maintaining segmentation table. Okay, this is the segmentation table, where we are having 2 entries. One is base address. Okay, base address of each segment. Segment number we will be having. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. Segment numbers we are having. Next, we will be referring what is the base address of it. Okay, our interesting point is base address only. If you know the base address, like third segment is starting from here. This is the base address, let us say. Then by using this offset, we could able to displace. Offset is nothing but from this base address up to what extent we have to go. That is nothing but offset. So to get this particular word, we need to get this base address, then offset. By using the offset, we could able to get this required word. Okay, so base address. But this offset may exceed this range. Why? Because here, if you observe, third segment is starting here and ending here. Okay, let us consider the capacity is 200. Okay, 200 words we are having for the third segment. Suppose if I give third segment 203, is it valid? No. So that's why what we will do is, we will check in the segmentation table. Okay, we will be maintaining 3 things. One is the segment number. Okay, this is segment number. Next, this limit for this segment, what is the limit, and from where this limit, that is base address. Like this, we will be maintaining the segmentation table. Whenever this 3, 203 is given, then 3, then 203 in the sense offset. Whether this offset is valid offset or not, we have to check. How we can check? By examining this limit. If it is less than or equal to the limit, then it is valid, then we can retrieve the base address. So we will retrieve the base address. Then for that, we will append this limit. Then we will be getting, that is offset we will be appending. Then we will be getting the 16-bit physical address. Try to understand here, this is the base address. Earlier, base address means frame number only. Earlier, whenever we use paging. But here, as these all are variable length, each segment is of variable length, that you can observe. This is different from this size, right? This is different from this size. Like this, every segment is of different length. So now what we will do is, we will be maintaining base address from where that particular segment is being started. Next, limit is used to check whether it is valid offset or not. Okay, now let us see how address translation will be done in this particular segmentation. Yeah, here you see CPU will generate logical address. Here we are having segment number, then the offset. You have to understand, whatever we have seen earlier in same, here we are discussing with respect to address translation. That's it. Segment number we are having, offset we are having. Now by using this segment, what we can identify, the limit we will be having and the base address we will be having. What is our interesting point? Base address only we want. If you know the base address, then we can add that with the offset. Okay, we can add with the offset. Okay, like this. Then we could able to get the physical address. Okay, this is the basic thing. But in the middle, we are doing some check. What is that check? Is we are getting the limit whether this offset is exceeding the limit or not. If it is exceeding, if it is less than this limit, then it is allowed. If it is not less than this, then we can say addressing error. Trap interrupt we will be generating. It is addressing error. See, 203 I have given and the limit is 200. Then it is not less than this, then it will give addressing error. Suppose if I give 103, then 103 is less than 200, so it is allowed. Then 103 will be appended with base address. So base address we will be having, then this offset will be appended, then we will be getting physical address. By using that, we can access corresponding location. This is the segmentation procedure. What is the difference between paging and segmentation? Just we will be having variable length, and each segment can be of different length. Automatically, where it will start, we don't know. That's why we will be maintaining segmentation table. For each process, we can maintain segmentation table. Got it? Like this, we will be using segmentation, and this one we call it as simple segmentation. As we have earlier discussed, simple paging is nothing but we will be dividing the process into different pages. Similarly, here we are dividing the process into different segments of variable length. And in order to execute this particular process, all these pages needs to be loaded. Similarly, in order to execute this one, all these segments needs to be loaded into main memory. This is called simple segmentation. Got it? Any doubts? Yeah, any doubts, ma?
No, sir.
Yeah. So on Monday you are having this quiz, right? Last quiz. So for that you will be having the concepts like memory partitioning, which we have seen, fragmentation, internal fragmentation, external fragmentation. Then this segmentation. Up to this we will be having. Okay. You please prepare for it. In the next class, we will be seeing internal details about this paging and segmentation, and there is one memory called virtual memory that we will see in the next class. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Please enter your roll number and you can leave. Thank you.